Hi, sweeties. How are you doing? Welcome to Naya Sim or Cimnanya, and thank you all so much for all the love and support. Hope you all are doing great. Today, we'll be talking something very important, and it's about a video that I came across about a pump colored man saying that people that look like me do not deserve reparations. And then a video surfaced about this same man actually on television talking about Project 2025. Number one is that I see a lot of them trying to fearmonger Black people, what to do and what not to do. And I want us to know that these people are up to something. So, some people, Project 2025 is yet to start. But I want you all to know that Project 2025 is already here. It has already begun. And one thing I know about Project 2025 is that it is a very dangerous project, right? And we really all need to sit up because in the end, you are going to hear verbally no matter who. But I really do want us to wake up this time around because there are some mistakes that will be done this year and it will take time to be corrected. But if they decide to also, pop color people decided to also make this and try to use that revised psychology that always use, telling Black people to come and save democracy. Trust me, nobody's saving democracy this time around. And there are some certain things like I think all the time they always look for a way to use they always use Black people as a shield to protect themselves against the chemical imbalanced siblings that they keep in the basement and the rest of it. We really have to be very careful. Let's get into this.
So let me get this straight. A state, California, that never allowed slaves is taking money from people who never owned slaves to give to people who never were slaves? People who never owned slaves to give to people who never were slaves?
It's called reparation. When it comes to Black people in America, I feel like y'all do not like giving them what is owed to them. Literally. The fact that Black people were slaves for over 400 years is insane to me. That's one. Number two, there was a Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And guess what happened? White people came into the town and burned down all the Black businesses. And it was literally sad because so many of them lost money and could not afford to live in their homes after that. Why don't anybody say anything when there's other demographic of people who are getting reparation or restitution for things that happened to their ancestors years ago? Hurry up and answer quickly. This video showed that people really do have internalized racism and hate for Black people. Why are you questioning the fact that Black people are getting reparation for something that your ancestor did to our ancestors? Please answer quickly. And if you really want to get technical, it's really Black American people who deserve reparation. So, yeah, that's just my thoughts on this video. Let me know how you guys feel in the comments.
Do y'all know John McKenty? This guy.
Lie to the government, it's called a crime. But if the government lies to you...
He's all over this app. He makes videos like that. He goes viral regularly. Shout out to Just Talk. Because I knew this man was an op. I knew he was here for a purpose. I knew that he worked with the Trump administration. What I didn't know was that he is now employed by the Heritage Foundation. Not only is he now employed by the Heritage Foundation, he's going around on different platforms outside of TikTok to talk about the importance of Project 2025 and what its purpose is. Here's a video that I saw over on YouTube.
John, can you tell us who you are and what you're doing here today?
I'm John McEntee. I'm an advisor on Project 2025 for Heritage, which is working on staffing the next Republican administration. I also run a dating app for conservatives called The Right Stuff. But today I'm working the Project 2025 booth and getting some signups.
All right, we'll talk about the dating app in a little while because I love hearing about that. But first, let's start with Project 2025. What's the goal of this project?
I think what you saw in the first Trump administration, the first term, was a lot of problems with not only the bureaucracy, but the political appointees not filling positions or filling positions with people that weren't right for them. I think now what we're doing is going to help the next potential Republican administration with their transition ahead of time.
Yeah.
So we can staff people and hit the ground running. Project 2025 is collecting, information, resumes, everything we can on people that want to go to DC, that are doing it for the right reasons, and we can take DC by storm that way.
Great. Now, talk to us a little bit about the last administration. You were in the last administration under President Donald Trump, right?
Yes, I worked as his personal aide, which travels with him 24/7, a very exciting job. And then in the last year of the administration, I also ran the personnel office. And we were making some headway, making some good hires, and we had great plans for a potential term 2. Hopefully we can see those plans through at another time.
Yeah, so you know firsthand how important it is to staff up with the right people.
Yeah, when you're working against the bureaucracy, you need all the help you can get. I think a president with a strong cabinet and people in the personnel office that actually know what's going on and how the government works, I think that would be a tremendous help to any Republican president.
Right. Now tell us a little bit about your dating app, because I'm very interested.
We don't care about the dating app. We don't care about conservatives and MAGA folks trying to find love. Basically, he and she go on to talk about how conservatives are more family oriented, and they only talk about getting married and having kids, versus the left doesn't want to get married or have kids. But did you hear what he said? He works for the Heritage Foundation. And he's working for the Heritage Foundation to staff up the government should Donald Trump or any Republican president get into the White House. So for all of the people out there, all of the people on the left that are talking about they're not going to vote, they're going to vote third party, who are telling us that we are just fear-mongering and, Project 2025 is not a real thing. They could never do what you all claim Project 2025 is designed to do. I've told you, Project 2025 is not coming. Project 2025 is already here. It's being implemented in states like Florida, in Republican states. Florida, Texas are your two prime examples that Project 2025 is real, and they are serious about implementing it. It's not fear-mongering. We are telling you that it's going to happen nationwide should Donald Trump get into office, because then he would be in charge of the federal government. And a lot of the things that they want to do, it's already on the books. Take a look at what they're doing with abortion. They're pulling out laws from the 1800s. We're not fear-mongering. We're telling you what they are trying to do, what they are planning to do on a nationwide level, on a federal level. It just won't be situated in Florida or in Texas. It will be situated all across the United States. And you know who will get the worst of what it is that they are trying to do? Black and brown communities, the LGBTQ community. Those are the ones, we are the ones who will get it the worst. So it really pisses me off when I see my people talking about how they are not going to vote. These people are not hiding what it is that what they are going to do. When I came in and read the important parts of Project 2025, the first thing I told you was that they were putting together a directory of regular everyday folks who will be ready on day one should Donald Trump get back into the White House. And here is this clown who strolls around on TikTok riling up the MAGA nuts, who works for the Heritage Foundation, is telling you he's manning a booth to sign people up. This is not fear-mongering. This is us telling you what it is that they are going to do. Point blank, period. Vote blue in November.
Fine, I guess we have to talk about Project 2025. Even though the people that say they care don't really care. Also, most of the stuff that I'm about to tell you is just a continuation or an escalation of things that are already happening and have been happening for a very long time. Most of the stuff in here is not new information and does not deviate from the standard Republican rhetoric over the past, decades. If you look up Project 2025 conservative, go to the website and then look at their policy agenda. You'll see first they're trying to sell you a book. You fortunately don't need to buy because at the bottom of that same page, they have links to PDFs of the whole book. If you read their section about the Department of Defense, scathing to say the very least. The DoD is a deeply troubled institution. Years of sustained misuse, a two-tiered culture of accountability that shields senior officers and officials while exposing junior officers and soldiers in the field, wasteful spending, wildly shifting security policies, exceedingly poor discipline and program execution. And in this last sentence, they blame Biden's vaccine mandates for taking a toll on the military. I don't know what that got to do with nothing. Clearly looking for any excuse. Say, hey, isn't that bad? Doesn't that suck? Let us step in and do our thing. Here's another screenshot from that same chapter. All this stuff sucks. Number 1, make burden sharing a central part of U.S. defense strategy. So they're saying that the allies need to do more. Number 2, support greater spending and collaboration by Taiwan and allies in the Asia Pacific like Japan and Australia to create a collective defense model. Not exactly sure what that's supposed to mean. However, I did notice that it said greater spending. And here in this stanza, they bring up the fact that the DoD spends about $850 billion annually, and they bring that up as a negative. You can only imagine how expensive it would be to create a collective defense model with Australia and Japan. Also, they want to support Israel. They want South Korea to defend itself against North Korea. Okay, great, whatever. My point here is the stuff in Project 2025 is bad. This is by all means not all the stuff that they want to do. The point is that you've heard of a lot of this stuff already. A lot of this stuff is already happening. A lot of this stuff would be happening no matter if it was a Democrat or a Republican in office anyway. I'll just say, ooh, Project 2025 and hang it and dangle it like it's this boogeyman. But it's vague. It's this specter from another world. It's the coming of the Antichrist. But it's not. If you look at any of the things in Project 2025 and you feel like this is going to end America, then you need to be concerned right now, mama, because newsflash, all this stuff is old news. It's old rhetoric. It's old policies being repackaged for a new audience that hasn't been exposed to a lot of this stuff over their lifetime. I bet you $1 if I showed this to my parents, they'd be like, oh yeah, they've been doing that since I was in high school. Here they're talking about how they want to increase nuclear stuff and how they want to get as big as China and Russia. That not the same stuff that we've been hearing our whole lives? So I'm not exactly sure why it's called Project 2025 because nowhere in anything that I read did it specify that this would happen in 2025. I'm guessing that's just when they're trying to make it happen. The date that seems to matter to them is January 20th. I saw that a lot in the reading. One of the PDFs that I read, it said that January 20th is around when the president gets his cabinet together and all of his stuff for what they're going to do that year. I'm not sure if that's true, but that's what they say. So basically what Project 2025 is a roadmap, a rubric for whatever the next Republican president is to use for his administration. Basically, when the next Republican president gets in office, they're going to take Project 2025, dust it off, and then get to work. Or lack thereof, rather, because all of the work is written out in this PDF or this book. Let me be clear, I'm not saying that Project 2025 is good. I'm not saying that it's neutral. It is bad. It is a very clear, written out plan for how they want to escalate conservative policies in America, which is not good. However, when you actually look through exactly what policies they want to push, so much overlap between these conservative policies and the Democratic presidents that we've had that also implement a lot of these policies. You start to notice that Project 2025 is not a specter from another dimension that we don't understand. It's a boogeyman that we have been living with for a very long time. Project 2025 is a boogeyman that a lot of you voted for, who is currently our president. Project 2025 is both of the leading candidates in our current election. Project 2025 is basically America's memoir, her autobiography. Is it bad? Of course it is. It's America. But it's not new.
So this is all I got from the stitches. And yeah, like you said, there are so many people that will still vote blue, no matter who, in November. So, but the reality is that a lot of people, I remember, I think we screamed about, like, I saw other content creators too posting about it, Project 2025. The truth is that a lot of people think that the whole thing is just staged, or some people do not also take all this seriously. But the reality is that Project 2025 has already begun, and the earlier they realize this, the better. Excuse me, for everyone, right? And like I said before, like I have always been saying this, a lot of things are actually going to affect people that look like me and other brown people, right? But I am so much after people that look like me because that is where my concentration, that is just where my concentration is, right? And we really have to be woke and know who we are voting for, because this is something really very vital. November is almost here. Before you know what's going on, it's already April. In the next 5-6 months, it will just be around the corner. It will be here. And what do you really want to do? Like, what are you people going to do? And I really hope that the way things are going, that everyone comes together to save democracy, because as it stands, this is not what they leave for one person or a particular group of people to do, because sometimes they fearmonger black. That is something that I know how they know how to do best. Trying to fearmonger black people, or trying to make them feel like, or tell them if you do this, it's going to affect you. If you don't do this, it's going to affect you. But we've grown past that, because we've been saying like all that for years, and it's not something new for us, So if we are going to try something different, I guess we'll start now making up our mind of what to do and what not to do, And let's get into the fact that that Mike, what was his name again? Something Mercantile was what his name is. That man has really been on black people's business, a whole lot. And I know what he has been up to. When you see people that create a lot of content about black people in a negative way, sometimes you might not know the direction they are going to, but as time goes on, you get to start seeing them on television, and then it dawned on you that they are always on mission. Why is it that a reparation is something black people have to scream and talk about every day? The fact that you all are still enjoying the generational wealth that your ancestors, got through people that look like me, and you sit down comfortably in that restaurant eating ice cream and think that black people do not deserve reparation, cut that check, because it's been long overdue. Cut it, And each time I see them, people that wake up to say, some of them really do not even know anything about history. That is another one. Some choose not to read because some of them really, it is hard for them to read. So sometimes you see them jump around on some people, like people that have the same mindset as them, to learn from them, if you have the same mindset with somebody, you end up not even learning anything, because there is not any you are going to learn. You see the same mindset you have that they have, especially about black people, right? They have refused to educate themselves on some certain thing. Like Saka, the black guy that said that what happened to the prosperous black communities that they decided to wipe away. Like, and it was called riot, race riot, when it was Sa and Kar, right? So why is it that it is hard for them to do the necessary? And they wake up every day to say, why must it be them? Because you all have refused to pay for this from the onset to this very moment. I remember them saying that, why is it that, you all did not, according to them, they said, you all did not witness slavery, right? Why do we need to pay you people reparations? To tell you how they keep lying to themselves. The people, you all remember the people from Tulsa, Oklahoma, right? That about 4 of them, or I think 4 of them, if I am not mistaken, that went to court, and they are still very much alive, Let them pay them the reparations that they were supposed to get. Sometimes you see how these people lie a lot, They were saying, we do not deserve it. Those people that experienced it were the ones that deserved that. And black people pulled out the people that witnessed that, and they started telling stories. I am really sick and tired of waking up to some certain things, really sincerely speaking, and they're ignorant. Because if it's not ignorance, why would somebody come out? So, but then not just only ignorance, anti-black, because if they are not anti, see you all in my next video. Bye for now. I'm trying to censor my words. I love my channel.